Hi everyone. In the last video, I ended with the question, why do companies, I made the statement that companies monitor turnover very carefully. And so I asked the question, why do you think that is? And so this is just a follow-up video, so I'm labeling this part 4A because the question I'm answering in this video is why companies monitor turnover and why they consider it to be so important. First, companies monitor turnover because it is a measure of employee satisfaction. So quite simply, if an employee is satisfied with where he's working, if the employee is happy that he is at this job, he's less likely to quit. That is reality. Satisfied employees are less likely to quit than unsatisfied employees. So if you have a large number of employees leaving, if the turnover is high, that tells a company that their employees are not satisfied. Another reason why they may want to measure is that it may show that this company does not do well compared to other companies in the external job market. So maybe people are leaving the company because the other companies are paying higher. Maybe this company A is not paying enough, and so Fatima was able to find a much higher paying job in another company, and so that's the reason she left. It's important to know that. Another reason is that maybe the working conditions are different at the company A versus other companies. So perhaps people are leaving because in other companies they're given fewer hours, fewer duties, and they can make the same money but not have quite as much work to do. It can be a sign of an abusive management. What I mean by that is if people perceive that if people at work think the management team they work for is not nice, that they're mean, treat people unfairly, that's a good reason to leave. And my last employer in the US had fantastic teachers. So at the university I was working at in the US, we had fantastic teachers. I keep in touch with them to this day. They are still good friends of mine. And over the course of time, we lost most of those good teachers. Not for pay reasons, not for workload reasons, none of the reasons that I list above. We lost those good teachers, good instructors, good professors, because the management at that place was terrible. Treated us with very little respect and made things that were not important seem very important, but did not care at all about how we taught our students. So yeah, good people left. That's the cause of high turnover. And the last point I want to make in this video is that when you're doing this, you need to compare to other companies in the same industry. So the example I make here is that there's no point in comparing a university with Carrefour. Okay, so if UAU looked at the turnover that it had, there's no point comparing UAU to Carrefour. Carrefour is a whole different company, a whole different industry, and the turnover they have has no connection to the turnover at UAU. Okay, UAU would look at the other universities here in the UAE. Okay, what is the turnover at our university versus the turnover in other universities? So the goal when looking at turnover is to make what's called an apple-to-apple comparison. And I'm not talking about Apple iPhones. I'm talking about it's the term an apple. Sometimes I have to remind myself that the people watching my videos are not native English speakers. So when you compare two things, so here's your English lesson for the day. When you compare two things that you really can't compare, so like the turnover at UAU versus the turnover at Carrefour. When you compare two things that you really shouldn't be comparing, we refer to that as an apple versus orange comparison. They're both fruit, but you can't really compare them, okay? Anyhow, That's it for this part 4A. I hope that you learned something from it. And now I'll move on with the next video.